Alright. Alright. Here we go. Door here somewhere. It really is. Huh. I obviously have something wrong here because I can't close it. So let's fix it. Or maybe I'm hitting the wrong side. Yes, I am. Wrong side. Alright. Okay, we're gonna go do a cargo run. Hopefully I got this thing set up so that it will actually get off the ground with a full load of ore. Has a medium box in it. Holds, in my case, about 80, over 80 liter, 80,000, 80K liters, which is pretty good for a 64K box. Let's change. Yeah. Okay. We are fine. Get moving here. See how it's gonna run. No problem getting out of the atmosphere when we're empty. When we are full, that will be an issue. Let's go back and construct somewhere on. Let's see. This will be the one. Set destination. We're going. It out here. Boy, it didn't like me changing course, did it? See, that's the trouble you get into if you over course change. And we're going to have to build up speed again for this to work, which it will, and we'll start increasing again. You have to watch yourself because of the physics. We are going to punch right out of the atmosphere, which we should have no trouble. We got an empty load now. Hopefully I got it set up that it will get out with full load. Turn on vectors. Left. I do not believe we'll have any trouble. Well, I know I've had it out in space once empty. Took it out just to check it when it was empty. I had to make changes once I loaded up the cargo box with full load, then had to add shit. But we should be able to punch it out in space. And I have extra fuel. I didn't fill it up because I just want to get an idea of how much it's going to use.
Hi.
How we doing? We're in Dual Universe today, taking our newly supposedly finished ship out to see if I could actually put a load of cargo in it and get off the ground. So we're wanting to planet to mine there to collect resources to fill up to see if this will actually carry a medium cargo box or more and get off the ground. Okay, we have space engines engaged. Still in the atmosphere. Why is one engine using more fuel than the other? They've both got the same stuff on them. Supposedly. Obviously one's using more, and we have gone into warp. And not quite the direction we wanted to go into warp, so we'll have to make a course change once we get out of the atmosphere, or get out of the gravity well. Fun stuff. Alright, we don't need all this speed. It'll keep increasing speed, no sense in burning the fuel. We want to keep enough thrust that it doesn't suck us back to the planet. We are not in space yet. We're still in the gravity well, although technically I guess we're in space. But when the gravity goes down to 0, we'll actually be out of the gravity well. See the trajectory error, it's sucking us down. So we'll have to, of course, change it. It's the way warp works in this game, unfortunately. Got to get used to it. No sense trying to change your course while you're in warp. It will not make any difference. Or at least I have found it hasn't made any difference. Somebody may know something I don't know. As soon as we get to 0 gravity, then we will start braking and we will make a course change. And we are out of the gravity well, so we'll throttle down and we'll start braking and get a course change in. And as you can see, those are retro brakes. And you can flip and burn, which will do the same thing, but it was easier. It's easier to go with retro brakes. You don't have to flip and burn, and you almost have to come to a complete stop before, at roughly 1900, we just broke out of warp, but we're still, trajectory still taking us down. The yellow arrow tells us the direction we are going. So we need to stop our momentum and then we'll throttle back up and make a course correction. So we travel to the planet we want to go, because if we keep going the way we're going, we'll eventually drop below the plane of the planet. Okay, now we're going to throw back up. And we're going to throw some throttle into it, and you can see the green arrow has now gone directly behind us. See, directly in front of us. We've changed our trajectory. We've got to remember that in this game. And now we're throttling back up, and we should go into warp the direction we're going. The gravity from the planet affected us when we left the atmosphere. That's why we got sucked down. Gravity was still working on us. But now, when we break into warp, we should go in the right direction. If we'd have broke before we broke the gravity well, it would have sucked us back down to the planet. You learn all these things the hard way. See, now we're warping in the right direction, so now we're good to go. And we don't need all this throttle wasting fuel. Just keep a burn going. And as I said, we're going now in the direction we chose to go. That's how I've learned to do this. There may be other ways, there may be better ways, I just don't know them. I'm self-taught everything in this game. I haven't looked at any videos, I haven't looked at anybody else's stuff. I've enjoyed trying to figure it out myself. And when building ship, if you want to carry cargo in it, you have to figure that an empty ship and a loaded ship are two different things. What works when you're empty and what works when your nano pack is full or your cargo box is full is two different things. The bigger the cargo box, the more tonnage mass you carry, the bigger difference it makes. So what I did is I got it where it would fly, and then I loaded up this medium cargo box, in which I knew it wouldn't get off the ground, and it wouldn't when it was fully loaded. And then I started adding features to get the thrust up, to get the lift up. Just kept working with it until I got it where now it should take off with a full cargo box. Now I haven't actually tried it. I mean, once I figured out what I needed, I added it on there. So we shall see. But this build helper will help you. See, none of this is working is why it's red, because we're in space. This is the atmosphere report. These are very important to use. Here is space. And now you can see that they're on and they're running. Fuel containers, brake list, all this happy stuff. Why this one says they're obstructed, I have no idea, but you know what, such is life. And it will give you a list of stuff that is wrong with your ship at any given mass. Now this ship empty weighs 151 tons. It weighs a whole lot more when that's big old medium cargo box is full. And that's what you have to worry about, because even though it'll run empty, don't mean it'll run with your cargo in it. Now we're going to get to within, I don't know. I got quite a bit of brakes. I'll probably get within, I don't know, 1.5 SU before I start braking. You do not want to brake. You do not want to hit the atmosphere over, I'll say 1,100 kmh, kilometers an hour. If you do, you will probably burn your ship up. Although I have actually got it through the atmosphere up to 3,000. However, you have to hit it just right. If you don't hit it just right, it will burn your ship up and it'll explode, and you'll spend all your time on the ground repairing it, because some of this stuff takes a long time to repair. Especially those two engines. They're large atmospheric engines. You burn them up and it takes a while to repair them puppies. Better materials, scrap materials, it repairs faster. Or I don't know if it's faster because materials do better repairs. But 10 to 1, if you're just starting out, you're using iron or aluminum. Silicone will not repair nothing. Don't bother trying it. Use iron scraps. Probably the best bet. Aluminum scraps. Anyway, it takes a long time to repair things, but tier 1 material scraps. Things to remember. And I have not put landing gear on this ship. Landing gear are not needed in this game. They're just there for pretties, basically. I just put skids on it to keep it up off the bottom of the ship so it doesn't hurt the elements that are down there. You can see I've got air brakes, I've got air brakes, I've got thrusters, I've got boosters, and if you rub them on the ground, you can damage them. So I just put skids on it for now to keep it off the ground when I land, so I do not destroy those components just because I landed. But I do have landing gears being made to put on here instead of using the skids. They just weren't done, and they're just not necessary. They're just, I don't even know if they look any better, but yeah. And like I say, as you can see, all kinds of added things. Retro rockers, there's 4 smalls. They might be mediums. There's a whole bunch of air brakes. You can never have too many brakes on your ship. Braking in this game is the only way you can hold your ship, and you can slow it down fast enough, quickly, without wasting too much fuel. To slow it down in space, you can flip and burn just like a rocket does in space to slow yourself down. However, it's kind of a pain in the ass to turn around 180 degrees and burn your main motors because it gets fuel cost. But if you use in the atmosphere, you use air brakes. They work really well when you get enough of them on the ship. Same thing with retro brakes in space, and they use less fuel than major burn on your motors, engines, whatever you want to call them. This ship has no rockets. I just have space engines and atmospheric engines. The 2 out on the wings are atmospheric. The 4 you see lit up, they are space engines. And they are, I think there's mediums. Yeah, I think they're mediums. 2 on the wings are larges. And the only question I have is if I have enough atmospheric thrust once I'm loaded. Now, it's really borderline. And I didn't really want to add another motor to this ship. I mean, if I'm forced to, I will, but I really didn't want to add more engine to it. So we're going to try with just the 2 large. Like I say, the mass of the cargo has all the difference. It's not that you carry a lot of cargo, it's the weight. And I loaded it up with ore and maxed the cargo container out with ore. And I have enough low altitude G to get off the ground. And it says I have enough for it to fly, but I didn't actually test it, and I probably should have. But we're going to test it here, and if we can't get it back into space to go back to Sanctuary Moon with the cargo, we know I screwed up, and I'll have to get rid of some of the cargo, which will be ore in this case. I'm going to go down here and mine ore. Not that I actually need to. There's plenty of ore still left on Sanctuary Moon, but I want to get to know that I can move shit around with this ship, at least a decent load. My other ship only has a small cargo box, and really a small cargo box doesn't hold that much. In my case, I think it's 8,600 kiloliters, because of my talents. But it's not a whole lot. It doesn't take much for me to fill up a small box. So all things you have to watch. Okay, we can go ahead and do a free burn. We don't need any more speed. I have no idea how fast this ship will go in space. As you can see, we weren't keeping a thrust arm. I didn't see any reason. This is a pretty short trip. We've already covered almost half the distance. And when you get into the better tier of ore, you can actually make warp cores. And you can warp to places, which is a big time saver. But it takes warp cells, which are the fuel for it. It takes higher tier ores to be able to do it, which is the best I'm able to collect right now are tier 2 ores. And I think you need tier 3 ores, 3 or 4. And I just don't want to go, I'm just not interested in doing that yet. Going to those places. I have not put a scanner on this ship yet. And once I get out of safe zones, one ought to use a scanner. You can get attacked, of course. There's PvP. You have to remember this is not like most games where you only have to deal with a limited number of people on each server. Everybody playing is in the same server here. Everybody's in the same sandbox. So, we got a couple thousand people online, at least probably. You better figure half of them are PvPers. And they will pounce. And I have no weapons on this thing, no scanners to run, and if I'm not fast enough, I can't run away. And I seriously doubt if I'm fast enough to run away, so... we shall see. Probably not a good idea to travel alone in a tugboat. But what you gonna do, you know? This basically is a tugboat. It's a barge. And you can technically throw these things in reverse, but I want you to know there is truly no reverse in this game. Not in these engines. As you can see, I have reverse thrust, but there is no reverse thrust. Don't think it works unless you have motors facing the other direction. Now, if I had some flip the other direction, when I reversed it, they would come on. That's how reverse works in this game. The motors up here on this ship are not reversed. They have nothing coming out the other end no matter what you do. And you can place motors in all directions. You can get vertical, horizontal thrust, vertical thrust. My other ship has vertical thrust as well as boosters. This ship does not. I depend completely on lift to get it off the ground. Okay, we're going to start breaking her down a little bit. Get it to a manageable speed. As you can see, we have 2960 braking, which is quite a bit. Get used to your ship, how much braking you have. The more braking, the faster you slow down, of course. Don't wait until the last moment to start braking because you'll be too late. Unless you have massive brakes. But as you can see, I can bring it down pretty quick. There's no sense of dropping out of warp yet. We just slowed it down to about just over where we drop out of warp. Course corrections in warp are pretty much useless. You'll change the orientation of your ship. You are not going to change your momentum. You have to break warp to be able to change directions. People complain, hey, I changed directions, it didn't work. Well, no, you're in warp until you get out of warp. Then you got to overcome your momentum to be able to change directions. And you're not going to overcome your momentum when you're in warp. Once you get out of warp, you can, but I have found it's just easier to brake to a stop and then change and not have to fight all that, not waste all your fuel trying to break your momentum. Just come to a stop, change your direction. I have just found that to be easier. Everybody's different. Gotta do what works for you. One thing I'd wish when we could look at our ship, we could leave it in a position, but we can't leave it in any position. It always jumps back. Gotta hold down the Alt key and wiggle your mouse to get to view change, but as soon as you let go of the Alt key, it will jump back to default. Now there may be a way to change that. I don't know. I haven't found it. Doesn't mean it's not there. They have fixed most of the bugs that have cropped up in beta, except for login. Now, login can be a pain in the ass. You may log in 2 or 3 times, the game crashes. Then all of a sudden it'll work just fine. Like I say, crash on login is their biggest issue right now, I think. Like I say, you can log in 2 or 3 times, it'll crash every time you log in for no reason. Then all of a sudden it'll work. I mean, it'll load in and you'll pop up wherever you're at, and then it'll just crash. I mean, it's not actually crashed at the load, it actually gets you into the game and then it crashes. But once you're in and you get through the first minute, it seems alright. It never bothers you again. There's a few little bugs, like some of the industry units are acting a little funny. All the mining bugs, pending operations, for the most part, all that pending operations, server internal error shit's over with. I don't get those. Very seldom do I see a pending operation anymore. Servers are responding much better to people. Pretty impressive tech to be able to get everybody in the same sandbox with no instancing. It's pretty impressive. So far, I think they're the only ones that have done it, been able to do it. I mean, Star Citizen brags about it, but Star Citizen has no idea how to go about doing it. So, but they do talk about server meshing and all that shit, and they already admit it. They have no idea how they're going to do it. But this game has done it. And now that they got all the core stuff in the game already. They worked on core, they did not work on pretties. And now that they got the core stuff in, now they're going to start working on more pretties. So, somebody actually knew how to develop a game, somebody else knew how to sell JPEGs. Now we're getting close here. We haven't got in the gravity well yet. And we're just flirting right around warp speed just to save a little time coming in. But when you're flying these ships, they fly like spaceships. You have to remember that. They don't fly like airplanes. Everybody else makes a space game, they make them fly like airplanes. These do not fly like airplanes, they fly like spaceships. So that means you really have to think ahead of time what you're doing to get it to go where you want it to go. And it's easier if you put lateral and horizontal thrust on it as well, but once again, you're adding weight. And if you're just making a spaceship and never plan on going in the atmosphere, probably the way I would do it. But if you're going to do both with your ship, you have to be concerned about weight, or you'll never get it off the ground and into space. Alright, we're about a 1.5 SCU, so we are in the gravity well. As you see that, we are now in the planet's gravity well. We are getting sucked down. So we're going to get our speed down here. We're still a bit of ways from the atmosphere. Quite a bit of ways. We haven't actually got into any atmosphere at all. Our altitude will start showing up here probably when we get around 5 gravity ms squared. Okay, we're going to start rolling to our target. See, our thrusters are working. We're just going to bring it around. Now we probably will have to go all the way around the planet and tell. In fact, I can tell by looking at it, we will indeed have to go around the planet, because that's not the area of the planet we're on. So there's no sense us going that direction. And as you can tell, we are being sucked down into oblivion. And I got to get my angle of my dangle right and all that stuff. As you can see, you got to catch them, just like real space planes, like flying a space shuttle. It's the angle of the dangle. Keeping my speed down as we fall to Earth. Okay, we gotta now have our altimeters working. We got a ways to go here. We are burning into the planet. Anytime now, as soon as our atmospheric engines kick in, I will throttle up. Catch some lift. Whoa, a little server jerk there. Okay, we're getting close. I'm going to go ahead and keep braking here. Getting ready to hit the throttle. We're getting close. Closer and closer. Ship will turn red here in a minute. You can hear it. We have atmospheric engines. We are burning. Come on, baby. And we have caught out of the atmosphere. There we go. We done it. We done did it. And we did not burn ourselves up. Did you notice that? We are still alive. We are flying on Alioth. Let's see. It's easy to burn yourself up, crash into the ground. You have to catch the plane. You are basically a rock falling out of space. Now, mothership has vertical engines on it, so we can actually slow its descent down when it's falling. This ship really can't, except for braking. I have no thrust going straight down. Unless I'm 50 meters off the ground, then my boosters kick in. Which is basic my hover mode. Like I said, we got to go all the way around the planet because it was on the wrong side. And I'm not worried about how much fuel I burn. I do have fuel in the cargo box. Because I've thought ahead. I've gotten out here and not brought fuel and thought, holy shit, how am I going to get back? Well, you do have a nanocrafter and you can make it. But it's much easier just to carry spares. Yes, we're supposed to get fancier terrain and biomes and stuff here. Now that they've got beta and beta, they don't. I guess technically they're feature complete, they just don't have the birdies yet. Like I say, they did not spend their time making pretty trees. They spent their time getting the tech working. And the tech is working. And people claimed it wasn't working when they opened the beta up live. Well, that was because they had no idea so many people were going to want to play dual universe over the backers. We had beta for a week before it opened live. The backers did, and it ran just fine. But as soon as they slammed the servers with 100,000 people at once, now it had trouble and they had to make changes, update servers, change some code because all the inquiries at once. But they worked at it consistently and constantly. And they've got most of the little bugs, major bugs, little bugs that cropped up. They got them fixed. And this is never going to be a game for everybody. This is a building game. It's not buy game. It's not a handheld game like WoW where they give you quests, you've got to figure out this, or like Star Citizen's trying to be. This game is pretty much make your own adventure. Crafting is a big part of this game, but you don't have to craft if you don't want to. You can buy everything you ever want. You can buy off the market, including ships. People will let you pay them to make you ships, if that's what you want to do. You don't have to make your own. I think that's part of the fun, designing things, getting them to work and shit. I just think that's part of the fun, for me. If you don't enjoy that, you probably don't want to play this game. But if you enjoy creating things and tinkering, little engineering, figuring things out, well, it's a lot of fun. I've been having a blast since it went into beta. What, 3, maybe 4 weeks ago now? Has it been a month? Almost a month, I guess. And I've had a blast. The planet was on the backside. Sometimes I can fly over here and the planet is in the right area. Sometimes it's not. I mean, my base is. I got a little territorial unit I built. I've got a little bit of land here claimed. I've only put a extra small static core on it, a small platform with a medium cargo box on it. I haven't done much. You know, notice we have volumetric clouds in this game? Star Citizen will have those in 10 years. Alright, I'll pick it on Star Citizen. I can't help it. They're just so disappointing. After all this time, they really have no gameplay except run around a bunch of cargo boxes. It's not my ideal of fun. But it is pretty. And I guess to sell JPEGs, you gotta be pretty. Alrighty, we're getting closer. Surprised we haven't passed through the base up ahead of us. Some other base, I guess. Surprised we haven't passed it yet. There are only tier 1 and tier 2 resources on this planet. You start mining it. Clouds are pretty clouds. And you can turn those off if you're having frame rate issues. You don't have to if your video card's not up to it. And to turn vectors on your ship like I have on is double tap the X key and it'll show your vectors, your thrust vectors. Show everything how it's working. See, got some, those are boosters. Their lift is lifting up. See where it's getting lift. See where it's getting thrust. See the direction you're heading. Turn those on by double tapping X. And turn them off just by tapping. See? Not a problem. And you can just make velocity. And you can do velocity and thrust. All up to you. We're getting closer. Just like I say, just some days the planet's pointed because planets rotate. So sometimes, yeah, you're on the right side. Sometimes you're on the back side. Got to go around the planet. This is a fairly good-sized planet. That's why it's taking us so long to get around it. Such is life. We got the fuel to do so it doesn't really matter. Except for time. And I have, like I say, I have extra fuel in the cargo box, so if I have to land and refuel it, I can. It's not a big deal. But I should have more than enough fuel to go 0.8 SU, which is probably about, 600 kilometers, maybe 700 kilometers. Once we get to 0.5 SU, it'll switch over to kilometers. And I think it'll be around 400. And we can hover, we can actually terrain follow 50 meters off the ground, no problem. See the server hitches every now and then for whatever reason. This mountain is loading in. Guess we probably don't want to crash into it. news is we're not dead yet. And when you build and do things on this planet, whether you're into underwater, on top of water, it does not matter. You are wearing a 25th century nano suit. 26th century?
It takes a long time to reach your destination.
It does take, you know what, it depends on how much thrust you want to put on something. I mean, we're really moving at a pretty good clip. And you can put enough thrust on your ship to move really, really fast, but you have to realize you're going to burn a lot of fuel doing it. And these planets are planets, you know, and you just don't go all the way around them, which luck would have it on this trip. I had to go all the way around the planet to get to where I want to go. When I came in from outer space, it just luck of the draw. You know, it could have just been that I came in on the right side of the planet and I'd have been right there. So it was just a luck of the draw as far as that goes. But yeah, travel time, I mean, and I'm doing a pretty good clip here at 736 kilometers an hour. It's just that I was on the damn near exact opposite side of the planet when I came into the atmosphere. So, and like I say, this ship will go a lot faster. I can burn a lot of fuel, and I can kick the speed up, but it will burn fuel. And I could add engines and make it even faster, so it flies even faster, but all that's at the cost of fuel and weight. I have two medium-sized tanks. They may be mediums. I think they're two mediums. 1,600 liter tanks each. That's quite a bit of fuel. I'm carrying what? 3,600 liters of fuel. And I can burn it pretty quick at full burn. See, at full burn, I'm up almost 1,000 kilometers an hour. And it burns fuel when you've got everything maxed out. And like I say, to go even faster, add more engines. But you have to realize the fuel burn is going to be considerable. I have learned that. So you kind of trade off speed. This is not a fighter craft. It doesn't matter how fast it goes. This is just a medium cargo ship. It's got a medium cargo box in it. So speed is not essential here. Might be if I'm trying to run from somebody who's trying to kill me. But you have to trade off just like in real life here. I mean, you can make the super fast ship, a little quick little, you know, it's easy to make, but you have to realize that, you know, how far are you going to go because you can't carry enough fuel, or how long can you stay burning in full burn. So everything's a trade-off here. I mean, when you engineer your ships and you design them, you've got to think about all these things. So I have decided I can take a little more time and conserve myself some fuel and use the weight that it will use to carry it for things like cargo. Now, if I was making a fighter craft, I'd make a fast one. You see what I mean? Just as fast as I could make it. And it wouldn't, but I wouldn't be able to fly very long. Looks like it's having trouble loading in here. See, now we're down to 94 kilometers. We're getting closer. We're finally getting there. Well, yeah, I just happened to land on the exact, you know, shit luck. But yeah, if you're in a normal ship, you have travel times. And yeah, you figure when you take this complete time from when I left the moon to back to this planet, yeah, that's a short distance in this game. It's not very far. And yes, so it takes quite a bit of time. Flight time is considerable. It's probably one reason you don't want to do it very often. Just like my other ship, has a small cargo box in it, carries about, I don't know, 96 kiloliters total, 9,600 kiloliters. It was not worth it for me to take that ship from the sanctuary moon to here to go mining and then go back. It just didn't carry enough weight, you know what I mean, to make it worth my while to do that when I can mine the same materials on a sanctuary moon. Now here on Alioth, the loads are bigger. I don't have to do near as much mining to get a whole lot more ore. Because when you find the ore, the veins are bigger.
But in Star Citizen you can accept long time travels because the scene is beautiful and the game is eye candy.
Well,
the graphics here is not that good at all from what I see.
No, they're not. But see, they haven't done the graphics. All that's in the future. They did the gameplay. They did the core elements of this game, and now they're going to have to get all of it working perfectly. They're going to add the eye candy. Their intention was never to create pretties first. You see what I'm saying? They made the decision to make the game, and then we'll add the eye candy as we go. So all the core elements of this game you can actually do right now. Do you see what I'm saying? Where Star Citizen you can do nothing. This game you can mine, you can construct, you can build, you can PvP, you can do all those things right now. And no, it is not pretty. They haven't put the pretties in the game, but the core elements are already here and it's running in beta. See the difference? In beta, they're using beta to polish the game instead of making it so pretty to begin with and then not do the gameplay. You have to remember that this is the only motor that I know of that is actually, everybody in this game right now is on this server. Star Citizen talks about it, but they failed for 8 years to do it. You see what I'm saying? We got 2,000-3,000 people right now on the same server that I'm on in the same area of space. So no, it's not pretty yet, but that'll come. You see what I'm saying? It's got to give it time. The gameplay is here. And that's the difference. Whoops. And like I say, it's not fancy graphics yet. They have admitted it. It was not our priority. We don't care about the graphics. We cared about making it work. So now, as it's in beta, it'll probably be in beta, about a year. And as beta goes along, they're going to add the features. They're going to add the pretties. They're going to increase the biomes. All that stuff gets added now. They got it working first, which is normal for game development. That's how games are developed. Most people don't start with pretty pictures. They start with getting the game working. The difference is that Star Citizen is trying to sell before the game's even anywhere near completed, and the only way they can sell is to give you a pretty picture, or nobody would buy it. But that's not normal game development. And I have Star Citizen. I think it's gorgeous. But I also know that they haven't made any improvements in a year. Except selling brand new ships that you can't fly. And I'm the first one to admit, if you're looking for pretties, you do not want to be in this game. If you want to be able to play and actually do everything that they advertise, well, this is the game to be in. And the pretties, like I say, it'll be pretty. People don't need to panic. That's the first thing people say is, well, it doesn't look like Star Citizen. Well, no, but this game works. Everybody is actually on one server. All the things that Chris Roberts has claimed, these people have already done. He hasn't. He is going to have old tech before he even gets the tech. Chris Roberts hired artists. These guys hired programmers. There's the difference. And Chris Roberts will eventually get his game done, I'm sure. But it'll be 10 more years. And by that time, I'm sure people will have grown bored with it. I hope not, but I think so.
I totally agree. SIG should concentrate on gameplay. I hope they add theaters of war soon.
They can't get it working. Just like everything else, they can't get it working. And that's the problem. They haven't figured out how to make the game work yet. I mean, and that is their problem. They can't add new planets. They can't add nothing because they can't get the engine to do what they want it to do. I mean, they've been better off starting from scratch than trying to rebuild an engine they're having nothing but trouble with for 8 years. And that's the problem. Theaters of War is not going to release until they can fix it. Same reason, that's the same problem in Squadron Commander. They can't even get a single player game working. How are they going to get it working in multiplayer? That's the problem. Okay, we are finally getting close. Look at this. How about that? Like I say, we have lots of brakes. In this game, when you build ships, brakes, brakes, brakes. Air brakes, space brakes. You can never put too many brakes on your damn ship. Trust me. Boosters, don't be afraid to use your boosters. Brakes and boosters, you can get the ship to do pretty much what you want. Now we get a little closer, can't we? Just gotta be patient. Like I say, you actually have to fly your ship here. It ain't no point and click like so many games. Okay, I'm gonna set her on the ground and not kill ourselves. There we go, and then we'll get out of the cockpit. Okay, we made it. See, this is the inside, by the way. Command seat. There's chairs for people to lounge around, drink coffee. These are fuel tanks, atmospheric tanks. Those red ones are space tanks. That's the dynamic core that the ship is built around. That's the medium cargo box. Those are space engines. And we're gonna pull out the fuel and we'll go ahead and refill it while we're sitting here. And we're gonna use number 6, and then we're going to fill the tanks up. We'll do these first, and then we'll switch fuels to the other fuel, and then we'll fill those tanks up. I think I got enough. And that way, on the trip back, we are ready to go. You make your own fuel, by the way. Everything in this ship I made. That's the difference. I did not buy this ship. Everything in the ship, including the ship, I made. Alright, now let's go ahead and open the door, and we'll go out and make sure we didn't damage nothing, because you do get damage just from flying sometimes. I have the repair tool on. I'm looking for anything that's telling me that it's yellow or red, will mean it's damaged or it's destroyed, and I don't see nothing. Sure, look at the top, look at the bottom. I have discovered that sometimes the things just gets damaged from wear and tear. So I have learned to check before I take off again. Okay, the ship is ready to take off. Now, I only have so much room in my nano pack. My backpack, this right here, see, this is how much space I have. I don't have a whole lot of room. I do have quite a bit of room, the higher your talents. But what we can do in this game, see this cargo box? This cargo box holds a lot. And I can declare it as a link. And then I can open this up, turn the link on, and now I have this box to collect stuff in. And that means that I can load this box up, not weigh myself down, and my ship supposedly is big enough that it will take off now with all that in it. And this is another medium box that I already placed down. I claimed this territory that we're over right now, by the way. And we'll open the box, and we have a little bit of stuff in it, not much, so it doesn't really matter. I wasn't sure how much was left in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go mining, is what we came down here for. We're going to turn our scanner on, and we're going to start looking for minerals. And it doesn't really matter what, because I'm just kind of checking the ship out. Okay. I don't really, the blue one coming down fastest is quartz, which I really have 20K in, so I really don't need it. So we're going to go after this white one. It'll be either coal or it will be aluminum, which we both need. And there's a hole where I've been here before, and you know what? We might as well go on down it. We've already dug this hole. And we're already within range. Let's see if I can get the place here and stop. Well, get through that hole, and then we're going to turn our detector on because we are pretty close to that vein. All I have to do is find it. Come on. We're already too deep. Come on. Thought I heard it there for a second, but I guess not. All right. Oh, there it is. Still below us. Yeah, let's start punching holes. Already lost it. Huh. Huh. Looks like we left some here from the last time, doesn't it? Okay, well, we'll pick it up. Must have been full. Could have swore I saw more in here. Yep, I did. Down here in the bowels of the earth. And this is probably why you shouldn't leave things, because then you find it again and you just got a little bit to pick up. It is aluminum. So. There wasn't much here. How much was there? 415 liters. That wasn't a whole lot. All right, let's go back to searching. All righty. Let's see. That looks like it went up. Down, see what happens. I see we are heading the right direction for the quartz, but like I say, I've got 20 kilos, 20K of quartz, and it's just not something I need. Come on, fall down the hole. Okay, we're just getting closer to the quartz, so we're going to pick a direction here. Let's go 0 degrees. And 0 degrees, using the scales. See if we can't bring in, that's iron, the dark blue will be iron. We're not very deep. For tier 2 ores, they usually aren't going to start to about at least 500 meters deep. We're not really in the right direction. We are moving that way, but so we're at 0. Let's try 60. We'll try to dial it in. Let's move a little closer. Sometimes you got to clear your overhead because your head gets stuck. See, head got stuck. As you get more talent points, your sphere gets bigger, and this happens less and less. And I've got pretty much a lot of talent points, but I'm still getting stuck on times. See, there's a pending operation. That should not happen. That server being slow to respond. And what I'm trying to do is get close enough to the ore that I can use my detector. I need to get within about 50. These are, it's meters. This reads in meters, so I'm trying to get within 50 for it to get in detector range. And when you start, your detector won't read 50 meters, but once again, talent points as you develop. Here I can show you talent points. There's all kinds of talent points. Since beta has went live, I have earned 2.8 million talent points. This is something you always want to keep going in this game. Very important. If you, right now, I'm getting 90 points a minute recovering my memory, okay? If I did not have things queued up, if it ever hit 0, there was nothing here, I would be getting 6 points a minute. So it's very important that you keep this going. Now I'm getting up to some pretty long queue times. Primary container or augmentation is 250 meters for my link. The box I link to, it means I can connect to it 250 more meters away. But you start out very small. Like max 250. I'm up to about almost 1,500 now. But you want to develop your talents, what they consider at the start of the game your memory. As you play, your memory improves and you start remembering things, which becomes talent points that you put into various things Eve-like. They have all kinds of talent points. I've been working on my character itself, my avatar, mining and stuff. I've got some, but you can do ammo, you can do industry, crafting, elements, health, hit points, piloting, radar, weapons. So, but it's very important to keep the queue going once you start playing. If you let it go to zero, you lose a lot of points. And it doesn't really matter. For your gameplay, you'll do different things. I've been mostly building, so I've been putting my queue points, my talent points where it's helping me the most. It makes it easier. When I get them where I want them, then I'll start putting points in, more points into industry, crafting, piloting, weapons. But regardless of what you put your points in, you want to keep that queue, you want to keep it filled up. It won't do it automatically. If you don't put them in there to train them, it's not going to train them by itself. So just like you make a queue and you just keep them going. And you can adjust it as you go. It's not like once you pick something, you're stuck with it. You can move things around. So if you get doing something you like better than something else, or you need those points bad, you can move them to the top of the queue. See, like my maximum scanner rate now is over 450 meters. When you start the game, it's under 300. And you may not think it matters, but it does. Especially when you're mining. Especially when you're looking for Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 materials when you got to go 1,000 feet deep, 1,000 meters. Okay, we are in range of our scanner, so now we got to look up. It looks like it's right in front of us. That's not normal. And so you have a range. It's somewhere here in the middle, up and down on that plane. And looks like about right here. And talents make your detectors better, make your scanners better. All this stuff is talent based. And we'll probably walk right into it without making another adjustment. As strong as that signal was. This will be iron. Just because I happen to know what the colors are on Tier 1 materials. I do not know what they are on Tier 2. I know they're the same colors, but I haven't. Looks like we're getting a little low. We'll adjust up. There it is. Put a little space around it. And time we're done, there'll be a big cavern. And normally on the sanctuary moon, a vein of iron's about 3,000 liters. Now we'll check this after we mine all of it, and in my experience, it'll be a whole lot more. Okay, now we'll switch over to our mining tool and we'll start pulling rock. And you may think that's all there is, but trust me, it's not. We'll drop down in the hole here in a second. And we'll look around and see, oh wow, look at all that. And this makes iron. Because after we take it back to our refinery, this will make a shitload of iron, which makes steel, stainless steel, all kinds of stuff. Like I say, you can buy anything in this game, but you can also make it. And I've been doing nothing but making it. So resources are important if you're going to do your own building, crafting, whatever. Or you can buy ready-made parts. You're not forced to be a mine to go mining. You can do nothing like people do in WoW. You can just play the market. Big market in this game. Like most MMOs, unlike Star Citizen. This is a player-controlled market. It has nothing to do with Star Citizen trying to control everything. This is all player-controlled here. Everything, the players, that's who does it. And there are already people who just love playing the market, just like they do in WoW. And I'm not a big market person, but it's all player controlled. Everything you buy is made by the players. There are no store-bought ships except that are made by players. Now there are, you can buy ships. You can buy blueprints to make ships yourself. But it's the players who have made everything. And it's really interesting to go to the market and just check shit out. Okay, looks like we got everything there, and we got 5,000 versus 3,000. So the loads are just bigger here. And our container is only 10% full, so we got a lot more to collect. But I need to take a break because my mouth's getting dry, and we'll come back. And one thing about here, you can log out anywhere. You come back to the same exact space. I will log out in this cavern I made, and I will come back right here. But I am going to take a break because I've been on for a while, even though I haven't streamed the whole thing. Yeah, it looks like I got it all. Just making sure that I don't see any more. Nope. See, this cavern was all full of iron, and we cleaned it out. There you go. There's a little taste of things running good here in Dual Universe, but we're going to take a break here, and we will come back later. Oh, we might go flying in Microsoft first, though. Might take an airplane ride. So see everybody later. Thanks for watching. See ya.